All right, welcome in everybody to the Growth Winners podcast. I have a special guest today. I met this guy on Instagram, following his stuff. If you don't follow him right now, his name is Justin Hanover. We're going to be talking about confidence today. Not only just how to build the confidence, but to maintain the confidence. This guy is a life coach helping entrepreneurs and high achievers, elevate their game. And today, when we dive into confidence, I've already just checking this guy out. I've already went to his podcast, listened to just a few episodes, and it's incredible, valuable stuff. And I'm the one that's blessed to have him today, on my podcast. So, Justin, why don't you go ahead and, for starters, I want you to just go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll dive right in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, Dennis. I'm
Absolutely.
I'm honored as well to be on the show.
Of course.
So yeah, it's a kind of a little bit quick overview of my background. I've been involved in coaching people for a long time now. I've been in business over 10 years. I'm still in the fitness industry as well.
Congratulations.
I built up a private training studio. So that's kind of where my first interest of building business, as well as helping people shift their perspectives and changing their lives, really.
Right.
And since then, I've grown into more of the life coaching aspect and health aspect, with helping other entrepreneurs and high achiever, like-minded people, because I've noticed a gap there of those types of people putting their health and their lifestyle from at home and at work kind of in the back burner, thinking they have to just grind. So that's kind of like my focus with that. But I have a love of mindset because it's really something that controls every aspect of your life. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not in the right frame of mind, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve will be kind of almost impossible, because you're always at some point going to be sabotaging yourself.
Right.
So that's why I'm definitely really excited to kind of dive into the topic today on confidence, because you have to have confidence in what you're going into.
Right. No, that's actually amazing stuff, because for me specifically, that's kind of why part of my self-esteem issues and self-confidence growing up, it's what I want to dive into, is specifically where the hell confidence comes from. Where is it born? How do you get it? Are you born with it? Are people gifted? And just kind of get a background on the confidence, because especially being in the life coaching and life transformation business, I'm sure that you get hit with a lot of different scenarios, and just the more people you serve, the more sample size that data that you have, and you can really identify where the hell this confidence comes from. And especially for me, here's my thing on confidence, and especially starting this podcast, mindset and habits, the two words. I know that there's a lot out there, a lot of podcasts out there, but the thing for me is those, in my opinion, are just literally the two prerequisites for life. Like, no matter who the hell you are, those are the two things that you need more than anything, is to have the right mindset and to develop the right habits. So for me, just to kind of get started I guess we'll start with that, because being an entrepreneur myself, especially 10 years, congratulations, cheers to both of us. Being in business 10 years together, it's a crazy journey. I'm sure you can experience that as well and have
Absolutely.
some great stories. But most importantly, how did you start to get into specifically this business? Like, why didn't you start, I don't know, a real estate company? What got you specifically into building life coaching and life transformation and health and fitness and stuff? Where did that start? Do you have a backstory that you could dive into that really got you into this space, or did you see an ad on Facebook and it looked interesting? Like, where did this all start?
I would say the mindset piece. I mean, I grew up obviously, I don't mind sharing this, but personal sharing. I grew up in kind of a tough upbringing. I grew up with a mom that dealt with an eating disorder, and so that was a very interesting thing growing up. If you have someone that have never dealt with it before, it's talk about mindset issues. That is
Right.
one of the epitomes of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of what pushed me into kind of expanding my mind, growing my mind, and enhancing that aspect of my life. It started out as more of just strictly the fitness realm, and then it quickly grew more into helping people just become higher achievers in life in general.
Right.
because I mean, it's not just obviously health and fitness. It's every aspect, your relationships, like your personal care, you're taking care of your mind. I mean, it's all those pieces into it that really affect the quality of your life, how well you're able to perform, and it's just your overall happiness and joy, and that's really what it's about. It's not just about achieving the goal; it's about the journey that you take getting to the goal.
That's so true.
What really matters.
And
So that's
sorry,
kind of
go
like
ahead. Yep.
Yeah, no problem. So that's kind of like what kicked me into, I would say, like more of that realm. And to me, I see like the more I learned, the more I saw a change in my own life. So I kind of like fueled that fire, and I was like, okay, I want to keep diving into this more because there's something to this. And it kind of just grew from there.
Right. No, it's so true. And for me, it's kind of crazy. So for me, it's like, especially I'm jealous of you, not going to lie, because you are in a business where you are completely surrounded by high energy, and the product, the service, the goal, the environment, the lifestyle is building better habits, better development, self-development. And it's just a tremendous space to be in. And so you get to be around it all day, every day, so to speak, helping others. And to me, it's like, it's just throwing more matches on the fire, that it just gets bigger and bigger the more people you help, and you just elevate your game. And it's crazy because the experiences you probably share with others kind of reflects back on you, is like, you're really proud of what you've done for others, or maybe they've taught you something. A lot of entrepreneurs and high achievers and stuff, there's two battles that they face. It's A, getting there, and B, that's kind of what I want to get into, is B, maintaining it. How many, look at the athletes, look at professional athletes. They get there, they make it, they sign the check, they make millions. 5 years later, they're history. They're gone. They're done. They spent all their money,
they lose that hunger.
Right. And I'm admiring, kind of hearing, especially for that, honest development of how you were raised and stuff, like with your mom and stuff. Like, I believe that everybody does have a story and an upbringing. That's kind of what I wanted to get to, is the initial root of how you got to where you are today. And I guess real quick to pivot is, so for you, if somebody's listening to this right now, and especially the way that I want to structure this podcast for sure, is somebody right now, whether they're in their car, they're late at night trying to fall asleep, or they just woke up and they found this podcast and are throwing it on. What is the nutshell advice that you have for somebody if they were to Google how to build confidence? Where does it start? A, are you born with confidence, or do you think that, what does it take to develop it? How do you get confidence? Do you buy it? Which I know you can't, obviously, but how do you get it? Where the hell does it come from? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's an excellent question. I don't think we're born with it. I think we're born with ignorance and bliss, in that sense of not being aware of things. But like true confidence that you can tap into and actually rely on. I mean, it definitely starts with like internal work. Like, it's confidence is self-confidence and belief in yourself. And most people don't have confidence because they don't believe in themselves. Like, their word means nothing. And it's something that I see all the time. I mean, in all different forms. I mean, if say for like the health and fitness realm, people saying like, oh, I'm going to start Monday. They don't believe themselves. And so the confidence isn't there, and then they're not going to actually take action on that Monday. So that's where the root, like the initial form of it starts, is just establishing that self-confidence and then giving like weight to your words, like, so they actually mean something. So when you say something, you follow through with it. So that's where it's like focusing on that rather than kind of superficial inspiration and like all like being like motivated, stuff like that, is where you're actually going to gain momentum and start to actually build something that's sustainable for the rest of your life.
Right.
So like something simple, like, well, the biggest thing is like just doing what you say you're going to do. So start small, like something that's like attainable, something that's not threatening, just whatever that is for you. If I just say like, okay, I'm going to call this person at 3:00 today and have that conversation I've been needing to have, and you do it. And it's like, boom, okay, that's another check mark and building some self-confidence for you. And the more you keep doing those things and that you say you're going to do, the more confidence you have, because you see that, oh, I can follow through. I can do this. I can make it happen. And then that starts transcending into your other actions in your life and blossoming from there.
Right. I believe, and I totally agree with all of that, where I'm at with, and I want to piggyback right off of that example, especially for those, business-minded people that have to make that call. Having that confidence, if everybody was infused, like you could just inject confidence, everybody would all be off the charts. They'd be perfect. They'd be rolling in their lives. But to me, there's a mental blockage. I'm not perfect. I've got self-confidence to where I struggle sometimes. I know that pretty much everybody has the battle of self-confidence. It's just at what level do you allow it to control your life, in my opinion. And so let's just use that call example, compounded confidence. And just compounded confidence, you make a phone call and you need this client, you're an entrepreneur, whatever, or if you work for somebody and your boss is going to be on your ass if you don't land the sale, your confidence is already minuscule because you're like, there's just so much friction. There's so much risk involved in that, part of life. And in this example, so what I believe people struggle with confidence, piggybacking right off of what you had just said, is you make that call and you get told no. Now it messes with your mindset that you're not good enough. You start to tell stories in your own head, which I believe would destroys a lot of confidence. What would you say and I'm just going to foreshadow. This is me. Probably 3 to 4 years ago. I want to hear what you would have told me 3 to 4 years ago, because I'm telling my own story here. I once was in a position where I felt like I was not good enough. I felt like everything I did, it's like I was just walking on eggshells in my own life, my own business, my family, my everything, just who I was as a person. I had such bad self-confidence issues where I just literally felt like I wasn't good enough. Well, what I want to know is, what would you tell somebody that isn't 3 years down the road, and you could probably prevent that today when they're listening to this? What would you tell them, such as taking action to break through the self-doubt to build the confidence to do the things that they want? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, even the most confident people in the world still struggle with this to some capacity. So to think that it's going to go away 100% again is setting yourself up for failure. But it's more about minimizing the amount of time that it actually affects you. That's
huge.
What's the bigger priority, because we're human. We have emotions; they pass through us. There's no way you can be a rock to everything.
That's huge. That's huge advice right there.
And that's again, I think it's expecting, not having the right expectations, because if you're expecting something that just is not possible, then you're always going to be let down and you're always going to be struggling. So that's like, first and foremost, I wanted to put that in perspective, that you will still be affected by this, even if you build your confidence,
right?
But you want to minimize, and also too, you can build your threshold up in the sense of like little things that used to bother you, like you don't even bat an eye at them anymore. But so it takes a higher thing to happen in your life to rock you a little bit. So that it's still going to happen. And then the second thing is removing ego from the situation. Because I think that's a big thing for a lot of people, is they tie their ego to their significance, and that all intertwines with your confidence. And if you get, say, a situation where a sales call or something, and you're told no, if you're someone that leads with your ego, then that's going to rock you. Like you're going to look at from perspective of rejection and failure and all negative vibes from that.
Wow.
Whereas if you're removing the ego from the situation, then you're going to look at it more analytical and be like, okay, how can I address this? What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? What can I do better the next time? So it's shifting how you interact with things and how you process things in your mind. But the biggest thing that hangs up a lot of people is the ego aspect. So we tie our ego to our significance, and any type of failure, rejection, anything that goes wrong, that is what's going to keep affecting your confidence. That's going to keep that down, because also with confidence, we revert back to like a memory of like whatever last happened in that realm.
Right.
So if you're going to constantly look at, like, say, a sales call, something that you had a bad situation with, or went no, or whatever, it just didn't go the way you wanted it to go. And you have the ego tied to that, then that's the last image you're going to keep replaying in your head over and over and over and over again.
That's huge.
And it's going to make it very difficult for you to grow from that situation.
So what would you say, I guess, to build on that? It goes wrong. I call Larry tomorrow, sell him on some marketing, sell him for a tent, and whatever it is that I'm doing I have 2 businesses, and whichever one it is, we'll just use marketing for example. Larry, I can do a website for you. It's going to be kick-ass, and I'm going to send you a ton of leads and sales. Your business is going to go through the roof. Larry tells me no. What do I do? How can I prevent myself from self-destructing to not lose the confidence? I had confidence. I built the confidence, right? We talked about the initial part of getting the confidence. I got it. I made the call. I got told no. Now what? What the hell do I do now? How do I prevent spiraling out? Because in my opinion, what you just said kind of hit home for me on the perspective aspect, is to look at it as an opportunity. Use failed confidence or lack of confidence as opportunity to learn and continue to grow. And that perspective shift is so powerful. What would you say? Go ahead.
It's nothing sexy. It's just do what you did to get to that point to begin with.
Right.
Keep doing it. I mean, that's really the big thing that people keep forgetting, is the base, like the best in anything, like whether it's a boxer or a business or a person, whatever, they get to be the best because they keep doing the basics very well. And they just keep executing on the basics, executing, and doing the same thing, the boring work over and over and over again. And so this process of building self-confidence and building your inner self-image of yourself and having that trust in your word, and the story that you have going on in your head, and addressing that. And it can go in a different direction too, of obviously addressing limiting beliefs that you have and everything, because that's your belief system. Obviously, it controls your subconscious, and that affects what you see and how you act.
Right.
There's ways to go more in depth into that. But the biggest thing is just doing the boring work every single day. Like it never ends. Like people think I get this all the time in different aspects, like in health and fitness or just in life and health development. They think they've reached this magical point when they can just stop doing what worked.
Wow.
And it can just, okay, I'm good now. It's great. Yeah. You've reached a level of success. Now keep doing it. It don't pull you off the gas. You keep going. And if anything, when you see progress, that's when you go harder. But it's literally just doing the same thing over and over and over again. You just don't stop. Like you said, habits is what creates mastery. And I think 40 to 50% of what we do every single day is habits. It's habitual. So that's a big part of our life. So if you're not focused on what you're doing and to make it a habit, then you're going to be struggling constantly. So you're going to have situations where you get into a sales call and that deflates you. Because you're not doing the internal work every single day. So that's the big thing, is there's no free ride or exceptions to that. Like you have to keep doing that self work, because that's what's going to help you overcome those downfalls that you're going to have, and be able to bounce back from them even faster, because you have that habit of that internal work built into your daily life.
Right. That's definitely why I believe in habits more than almost anything, because it's a two-sided coin. That bad habits, repetition is the key to mastery, but repetition is also the key to destruction if you're not doing the right things. You know what I mean? So like you're smoking cigarettes, whatever, I don't care. Whoever smokes, like whatever. Like if you have bad habits, if you're, fighting with your wife or your spouse or anybody, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, or, you're eating food that's not good for you, you're getting drunk every night, you're just wasting your life away. Those are bad habits. Like, how do you pull it out of somebody? How do you dig to find their self-confidence issues? Where do you look in somebody?
Well, generally in the areas that they're struggling the most in.
In current time, or would you say like childhood, or how far back do you go to really find the confidence issues?
To get it going, in current time, what they're struggling with, and then you can start peeling back the layers from there. You have to have that initial starting point to then peel back from there. I would say kind of like the biggest thing. I mean, it's understanding where they're struggling right now, and then working backwards from there.
Gotcha.
'Cause usually whatever their issue is or their block is, it generally obviously stems from your youth, because that's our developmental years. That's when we're absorbing things
Right.
the most, and our environment affects us the most at that time. So it's whatever baggage you have going on with you that's been staying with you that you haven't been addressing and facing at the time.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And you bring up the word environment. Environment to me is something that I've made a lot of excuses for as to why I'm not elevating higher in my life. I'm doing really well for myself. I'm very proud of the accomplishments that I've made, and I'm definitely driven to hit higher levels in my own life. But I feel one of my limiting beliefs, by the way, I listened to one of your podcasts about limiting beliefs. It's so true. Everything you said, whoever's listening right now, if you are listening right now, go to, what is it? The
Road to Living Empowered.
Road to Living Empowered podcast. Where can they find that real quick? Because what is it? It's
anywhere, Spotify, iTunes, Google.
Got you. All of the platforms, major platforms. Scroll down until you find the one that talks about limiting belief. This man destroys, just absolutely nails the process of how limiting beliefs can control our lives if we don't catch on to them, and that's something that, in my opinion, would tie right directly laced into what we're talking about right now with self-confidence. That it's such a cliche topic. Like, if you were to walk down the street and ask a stranger, hey, you want to discuss self-confidence? Nobody has time for it. Everybody overlooks it. I feel like it's such an undervalued commodity in a human that it's so goddamn important, but nobody wants to really focus on it. It's like it goes hand in hand with everything else, but it's the stepping stones, and it's a prerequisite to anything else that you want. You want the girl, you want the guy, you want the money, you want the car, you want the family, you want. You won't get any of it unless you've got that confidence to stand. There's a quote that I live by, or I like a lot, is if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. Or you know what I'm talking about, that one quote? Yeah. That's what I feel with self-confidence ties into. It's like, if you don't have the confidence to stand up for what you want or what you believe in, you'll fall for everything. You'll just walk through life and be a ghost, just you won't get the things that you want. So for me, confidence is a stepping stone. You've done a great job of identifying how to get it, where it comes from. Last step before we close this out is let's talk about maintaining. So let's reverse the story. I call Larry. I say, hey, Larry, we need you need a website. He pays me billions of dollars. I'm rich. I'm driving a Lamborghini. I'm crushing it. Trophy wife. I couldn't ask for anything more in my life. How do I maintain this confidence? How do I not let you mentioned ego. Ego is, honestly, that hit home for me, because I never really thought about tying ego and confidence together. But now let's fast forward to the person listening that has the confidence, that is crushing it. How do you not lose it? Do you get what I'm saying? Let's twist directions to there.
Well, I think that's a big thing that a lot of higher achievers struggle with, is like say an athlete, they reach the NFL or something like that, or they won the Super Bowl or whatever. And it's okay, what from here now? I feel like I've done everything. And that's what you need to keep reminding yourself that it doesn't matter what level you achieve at, you have to have the next thing. You have to, your why and your purpose behind what you're doing has to always be there, because that's what gives you clarity. And when you have clarity, you have certainty. When you have certainty, you have confidence. Because you feel good in the direction that you're going in. It speaks to you, and that allows you to be your full self. And that's the big thing, is you can't you can never reach a point, a goal, or you hit that $1 million sale or whatever it is, and then just stop and then expect to keep it.
Right.
You have to have the next thing that you're going for. There always has to be a purpose and a why behind what you're doing. And obviously you generally want to be bigger than yourself, something that's going to keep you hungry for your lifetime.
Right.
Because that's what's going to allow you to still have that focus and not kind of wander off.
Right. No, it definitely makes sense. I'm not there yet on, I believe I definitely have tremendous habits, but part of complacency is just thinking that you've already made it, and it ties into this kind of there is no stop. There is, dopamine in our brains. We're always going to want more and more and more, So for me, it's like, I haven't experienced, at least not yet. I'm 26 right now. I have truthfully not experienced a feeling. And I talk about this with my wife a lot. I talk about how other people can be complacent, because I literally don't know what that feels like. We had this conversation at least less than a month ago, and I told her, I said, how do people literally they're just okay. They're comfortable and they're happy with like just getting by. Like, because for me, again, with the whole ambition thing, it's like, I am always working towards that next thing. I don't know what it feels like to have made it. I don't know what it feels like to cash in and say it's over,
life
for
of
me.
an entrepreneur.
Right. And it is, but the contradicting thing is, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs actually think they made it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you've got the person that is totally content with working a mom and pop shop, making a couple bucks, supporting their family. And then you've got the entrepreneur. We're talking two totally different entrepreneurs. The other entrepreneur is out for millions, if not billions, changing the world. And it's just like, they're both entrepreneurs, but one's content and one's never satisfied. What are your thoughts? And I'll probably wrap this up. Otherwise, I could literally talk all night till the sun comes up about confidence and this stuff. But what are your thoughts on having enough? Is there an end of the road for what is the top for somebody? So somebody that's truly made it, where do they go from there?
Well, kind of like what when we were having a little conversation, obviously, before we started this, talking about Ed Milet. I love the way he explains this. And basically, like the theory is like being blissfully dissatisfied.
Yep.
So it's about understanding and being happy with what you have, and being in the moment and being able to enjoy the journey. Because I think that a lot of high achievers don't do it. I am totally guilty of this. Having successes, but not really giving it the credit that it deserves, and being able to actually enjoy what you just worked for before you're already on to the next thing.
Yes.
So you have to
so true.
that balance of like enjoying the process, but not stopping that drive to achieve more. Because I mean, ultimately, that is the purpose of like an entrepreneur or any types of people. It's to serve more, to expand your reach, impact more people.
Right.
So if you play small, then obviously you're not going to be able to do that. So it definitely is that balance of learning to actually, like I said earlier in the episode, the conversation, the goal is not the major thing. It's the journey to get to the goal.
Yes.
Is what really matters.
The destination, the journey is so much more important than the destination, for sure.
Yeah, that's where you learn everything. It's like the goal is almost kind of anticlimactic, because it's like,
right,
I'm here now. It's like
exactly, instant gratification. Imagine if everybody did just try something and win every time. There's no fun in that. It might be fun the first time. You might get lucky. That's like a lottery winner. Look at all the lottery winners that they win, and then their blueprint sets them right back to where they were. It's because if you win every single time, it ends up, I don't know if it doesn't end up being as fun anymore, but there is no challenge. There is no struggling or embracing the challenges and struggles and obstacles that people have to face to get there, And the thing for me is like tying confidence and instant gratification, going right back, not to get too off topic, but the phone call situation. You make that one call and you have such high expectations that you're going to nail it the first time. People go into things in business, in life, in fitness. Fitness is a big one. January 1st, everybody goes New Year's resolution. February 1st, they're nowhere to be found. Instant gratification destroyed them. Just completely wiped their goals off, But unfortunately, I'm going to wrap this up here. I like to end every episode with a challenge. I'm going to think of something, but if you beat me to it, feel free to cut me off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like the biggest thing, is just forming habits. So just start from there. Like commit to like a 30-day time block and literally print out a calendar and decide whatever like your action step is. So it could be like you're going to meditate for 10 minutes. You're going to read 5 pages every day. So whatever it is, start again, we're not looking to move mountains right away.
Right.
Pick an action or habit that you're going to do every single day and commit to do, and schedule time and make it happen. So at the end of that 30 days, you solidified that into your routine and prove to yourself that you're able to actually follow through with what you say you're going to do. Because that's the biggest thing. You have to start there. If you don't believe yourself, why is anybody else going to believe you?
Right.
So you have to start with that internal belief first. So
Right.
prove to yourself that you are capable of doing what you say it is that you're going to do. So just start the simple 30-day challenge, print out a calendar, and literally cross off every day that you hit it. And it's a whole psychological thing of not breaking the chain. So it's going to help and kind of spur you along to, like, you're going to get that dopamine hit of being able to cross off each day as you're going. So literally do it. Don't skip on that, because that's a big part of helping that become a habit.
God, that's so huge. That's so huge. And I believe it too. It's one of those things that you know of, but just hearing it again, that friendly reminder, the compound. If you guys are listening right now, the compound of it, like he had just said, the repetition. You might not feel like it's a big achievement we could just start as small as making your bed and, doing one thing outside of the norm that you typically would do to build that confidence. Find one thing that you're good at and just do it over and over and over again. And I mean, I meditate every day. That could be one. Just find one thing that you can do for the next 30 days and develop mastery around it through repetition. And like he had just said, the dopamine is going to hit that, where when you look back after 30 days, what's truly going to start building that confidence is you're going to hold up that piece of paper and you're going to see 30 X's or checks or whatever you want. And you're going to see the achievement that you made. And that dopamine is going to kick in and you're going to want more and you want to get more. And that compound you build from the baby steps. Again, destroying that instant gratification, thinking you're going to build it overnight. It's not going to happen. And that's amazing. So Justin, thank you so much. Not only do I think the audience get a lot of value out of this, but I got a lot of value out of this, especially again with the whole complacency. I am all about mindset and habits. And you even just spending, I don't even know how long we've been, 30, 40 minutes, just spending time with you right now. I've already pulled something away from this. Tremendous value. Where can people go if they want to learn more or hear more with you? Where do you want to send them? Where would you like, how can people connect with you?
Yeah. Well, first off, obviously, I'm honored by that compliment. That really means a lot. Because I mean, that's just my personal mission as well too, and just myself, like being a student. I mean, I love the conversation and what you were saying as well too. I mean, you have to be a student of everything, and you can learn from everyone around you. So never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
And where to find me, I'm on Instagram. My handle is just justin.hanover. On Facebook, Justin Hanover. And then, like Dennis mentioned, also my podcast as well, The Road to Living Empowered, is another way to connect with me as well.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you so much. Tons of value today.
Thank you.